The Hind, aka the Baguette, has always been a bit of a joke weapon. I mean, it looks like a baguette for one, but it's also pretty damn bad, so it's no surprise that people made fun of it. But then the Kuva Hind came out, and it was just like, oh, this is kind of like the Tiburon, but baguette. A Tiburon baguettified, if you will. Unfortunately, it was still overlooked for the most part because the other Kuva weapons, most of them anyway, were just really good. And that's a shame because the Kuva Hind is actually a pretty cool weapon with decent stats. It sports 3 fire modes, just like the Tiburon, full automatic with relatively low damage and somewhat low crit, semi-automatic with high damage and high crit, and a 5-round burst that sits somewhere in between. The status chance is also not terrible on either of the fire modes, and it does do primarily slash damage. So let's give the Kuva Baguette a shot and see if it's any good, shall we? So yeah, it's basically the Tiburon, right? I also have a cold one, which is very good. So this 5-round burst, right? That's kind of like the in-betweeny one. The damage is the same as on the full auto, just the crit's a little bit higher. And then we have the semi mode, which has the best stats, but, well, it's semi-automatic. 100% going frostbite here because of the valence bonus. It's just going to be really easy to build around. We are going to need Serration though. Let's not forget multi-shot as well. Oh, why is it so hot? I'm being boiled alive over here. We're actually getting a lot of status here. Now, we could go Acuity, but I think I would much rather just run Galvanized Scope for the crit, Vital Sense for some crit damage, and then what? Let's see how we're feeling so far. The burst takes so long to fire. It's very unusual to have a 5-round burst, so we definitely want some fire rate for that. What about the semi-auto? That feels pretty good as it is. Full auto feels really good right out of the box as well. It also has really good DPS. Like the burst has good DPS, but I think full auto is the way to go. Look at it. I think we'll mainly stick to full auto. Like there's no reason not to switch them around, like the build will work. It's just that this last mod, I would like to focus that on the full auto mode. You know what? This might sound dumb, but I am feeling Hammer Shot. I'm a big fan of this extra status. It's not ideal because we have 3 sources of crit damage, but still. You can even fit in an unranked stabilizer, wowee. This is feeling mighty fine, my dudes and dudettes. It's surprisingly clean. This kind of feels like a Bratton, like a well-built Bratton. Do you know what I really like about this? The status ratio. It's really good. It like super strips armor, but you also get enough cold to get all that crit damage. It's not going to be as beneficial as on a Hunter Munitions build, but still, let's get the boy and see what it do. Let's max it out. Hunter Munitions, by the way, is the other way of building this. It's kind of like the OG way of building the Hind. That's why I got the cold one, so I can get easy vital. This feels a hell of a lot better than the old slice setups, though. This is tremendous. I mean, it's not going to win any prizes. It's not mind-blowing, but it's clean as hell. I like it. I honestly think this is the way to go. If you want to go burst or full auto, if you want to go semi-auto, I would probably stick to the old Hunter Munition setup. The cool thing here actually is that you can do both of them with the same valence bonus. If you have cold, you can save a mod slot here for frostbite because you don't need to put in cold. And on the Hunter Munition setup, you only have to use toxin to get vital. Am I seriously praising the Baguette this much? I think I bloody am. I'm actually having a lot of fun here. This is great. Like, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to have this much fun. I knew the Kuva Hind was decent. I just didn't expect to enjoy it this much. I think it's mostly in the build, though. I usually prefer upfront damage builds to dot builds. I know they're not that different, right? Dot damage builds in Warframe tend to do damage pretty fast anyway, but they just feel different. Oh, I love having cold for acolytes. Look at this clown, dude. Well, that was great. I think the most unfortunate thing about the Kuva Hind is that it's competing against some really good weapons, right? Because we have like the Ogres, the Brahma, the Tonkor, Comb even. And they're just really good. Like, do you want a bow that shoots death or a baguette? The only thing that's bothering me just the tiniest amount is the reload. Could be a little bit faster, but that's about it. I think it would have been better if I went with primed cryo rounds just for the extra base damage. I don't think it's entirely necessary. Hammer Shot works fine, but definitely try primed cryo rounds as well. The reason I didn't do it is because I wanted primarily corrosive damage with some cold on the side, not like a massive amount of cold damage with some corrosive on the side. Just to primarily get armor strip with some extra crit damage on the side and not the other way around. Gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the result here. I think we can wrap it up. Ooh, nice chunks. Yeah, the semi-auto works pretty well with this setup as well. This is what I like about this build. It kind of works with all 3 of the fire modes, so you just use whichever one feels the best for the situation you are currently in. So here's what we ended up with on the Kuva Baguette. I have a cold valence bonus, which actually works really well for multiple builds, but this time around I wanted to focus on primary frostbite, so that's our arcane of choice. For mods, we run Serration for base damage, Galvanized Timber for multi-shot, Galvanized Scope for crit chance, with Vital Sense for critical damage. Then we have Galvanized Aptitude for status chance and condition overload, followed by either Hammer Shot for more crit damage and status, Primed Cryo Rounds for a ton of cold damage, or some fire rate if you mostly want to use the burst fire mode, which doesn't feel particularly good with the baseline fire rate. And we top it off with Malignant Force and High Voltage for corrosive. Exodus is very much optional here, you do not need mutation, this thing has more than enough ammo and pretty good ammo economy, so you can just leave it blank. But you can run Stabilizer if you're bothered by the recoil. And let's also not forget about a good priming pet. I run Hound, Good Boy Harrow, that primes cold from Coolant Leak, and then Heat, Impact, Puncture, Radiation, Magnetic and Vital from its butt totem. This adds a ton of damage to the weapon through Condition Overload from Galvanized Aptitude, but you also get the benefit of all those lovely status effects. This is most definitely my preferred way of building the Kuva Hind, though it's not the only way. You can easily do a Hunter Munition setup and focus on damage over time instead. The cool thing about that, as I've already mentioned in the video, is that they both work really well with a cold-based valence bonus, because you can utilize the cold to get both vital but also cold for frostbite. Hell, you could even do a Hunter Munition setup with cold and frostbite and just get vital from your pet or nourish. So while I don't necessarily think the Hind's gonna win any prizes, especially when compared to some of the other really good Kuva weapons, it's more than good enough to do Steel Path, and it actually has a nice selection of builds you can try. Plus you have a selection of 3 different fire modes, so there's actually a lot of flexibility here. The Baguette is fairly versatile and fun. I enjoyed this very much. The Kuva Hind is not a bad weapon. So yes, I would recommend you give the Baguette a shot. Try a bunch of builds, try them with a bunch of fire modes. There's a good chance you'll like at least one of them. Just don't expect too much from it. It is a Baguette at the end of the day. If you go in expecting a melee influence level of broken and clear, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But if you like weapons like the Karak or the Braton, definitely try this out. And that is pretty much it, so I thank you very much for watching, as always guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And as always, if you have any other setups or builds for weapons or whatever that you would like to see covered in this series, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.